And boom goes the dynamite. All right, y'all, what is going on? I am a little late. That's okay. I had something to do beforehand, but it is what it is. This is going to be a solo episode for today. Um, Usually I'd have somebody on there, and what was I about to say? But things happened. He could not make it. So it is just me for today. And we're just going to cover a few little things. Like I said, I didn't want to keep on skipping these only because my logic is it gets to the point where I already had went on a big break from these, and I said I wanted to start them back when it came down to the series. When it came back to the series, so I said that I wanted to be back consistent, and so this was going to usher me in being back consistent. So here we are. What we got to talk about today? So before we get too deep in everything, as I share this before I get started, let me share this with y'all. Well, hopefully y'all having a good day, a good Monday. Like I said, I hate to sound like the church people, but I won't be before you long. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this going, and then we're gonna get started. Trying to see if a few more people can come on first. Hold on. Let me add the link. Let me add myself. Let's see what's smell what the rock is cooking. Is that what he used to say? Was that him that said that? Somebody used to say that. Smell what the rock is cooking. I don't know. But all right, y'all. So we already here. So let's get into it. So let's first start talking about the recap for As a Man series. The As a Man series. We're just recapping track 1, which was about As a Man, Why Are You Impatient? So first off, I'll have to give a round of applause to myself because when I look back and I was editing and posting and doing the clips, that episode was what PSA needs every episode. And we're definitely going to increase with that. But it had faith conversation. It had pointing back to God and things. It had humor. It had many jokes and that were planned, some that were not. It of course, had the statistics. The flow and the structure is always there, but it just was consistent with jumping. And it's easier to do when I'm by myself. Jump out of conversation, jump right back in, and didn't veer off the conversation too far. I think it was a lot of good tips. Talking about the dangers of being impatient. And I used the example of like when I bought them clothes offline and we saw what happened. I said, now I didn't spend $37 poorer, and I said they could be playing volleyball with my information on the dark web. And then I never got the clothes on top of all of that. Then we talked about how sometimes being patient, learning to be patient, like you could be being spared from something. Like when we thinking, oh, why is traffic moving so slow today? Oh, why is this happening? Oh, why is this happening? Whole time you could be missing a car accident right now. You know what I mean? You just never know. It's so many good things that could be happening while you're being held back, or you know what I'm saying, or you happen to oversleep, or what happens if when it comes to being impatient, or you learn how to have patience, you go to it just could be, it's endless. So if you have not streamed the first track, the As a Man, Why Are You Impatient? Track 1 of the new As a Man series, please go stream it on all streaming platforms, podcast streaming platforms, and on YouTube. It is on there now. So today we have 2 topics. So like I said, we won't be before you long because like I said, it's just me and I'm going to do an analysis, but I'm not going to go too deep because yeah. So let's get into the first one today, which we're talking about Dr. Umar, y'all favorite, and his reaction to the police, because I actually have a lot to say about this and I thought it was interesting. So let's share the screen and get started.
How we doing? Yes, sir. Yeah, what's going on? Me? Okay, now I'm Dr. Umar Johnson. I'm just waiting on my flight to Amsterdam. It wasn't me. I'm good. They sent y'all to me specifically?
No, they said a black man on a plaid shirt in this vicinity.
I might be the only. Was doing what?
No, it was somebody called in and just said that that person was talking to themselves. And
oh, now I'm a psychologist. I'm perfectly sane. No problem. No problem. All is well. All right now. Someone sent the police. Y'all see the police behind me? Do y'all see the police behind me? They sent the police. Two fully uniformed white power structure. They sent the police to the Prince of Pan-Africanism. And I'm talking about spirituality. See, brothers and sisters, did y'all see what just happened? They said they got a call that a black man in a plaid shirt was talking to himself. Lord have mercy. I thought I'd do the psychological evaluations. I thought I'd do the psychological assessments. I thought I'd do the psychological screenings. I thought I'd do the psychological diagnosing. I thought I'd do the psychotherapy. That's the first time that's happened to me. The police came to apprehend me. So the question becomes, who sent them? Was it the Utopian Negropeans? Was it a Neanderthal who's listening to me in this airport who doesn't agree with the mission, the message, or the methods? Who do y'all think sent the police? Who summoned Detroit's finest? Was it one of you all? Was it a member of my Ifatunde Queendom? Was it the reactionary Beta Manosphere? Was it a Caucasian in the airport? Was it Utopian Negropean?
Are you driving way less?
Okay, so it's a lot to unpack there. All right, so let's get into the first segment toward the day. What does this have to do with mental health? So first of all, as you heard, he is licensed in psychology as far as he's perfectly, he's saying he's in his right mind, and he was thought to be, it was assumed that he was crazy. Now, if you see Dr. Umar from afar and you see him probably on his phone, and he's a little older, so you know how old people are all the way all in their phone like this. So he probably was all in his phone, and he's very animated and dramatic. So from that angle, I feel as though he was probably expressing himself in his big way that he does, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I feel like saw him, probably got nervous. Who knows? They probably could have recognized him and thought he was aggressive. Maybe thought that they was in danger, not because partially probably because he's black, but also too because it's like, oh, that's Dr. Umar and he looks real aggressive. He might just spaz out. Because honestly, if I see you from a distance and he being hella animated, you might think, what's wrong with this person? But then at the same time, I believe it was old because they don't get like stuff like that. Because I ain't gonna lie, it is funny though, being a person who like recording content and then being a person who sees somebody recording content, because it's just like, it's awkward seeing somebody do it, and it's really awkward doing it too low key. But I think that he's perfectly sane. But when it comes to mental health, you saw how his reaction after the police left versus when they was there. Now, for those people who he said he's the Prince of Pan-Africanism. He said it out his mouth. Because I've heard people, when we have those police debates, people be like, if a police, ignorant, pay attention, ignorant will be like, well, police come at me like that, I'm going to let them know. You saw how the Prince of Pan-Africanism handled the police and reacted, right? So what do you have to prove by doing that? And before I get too far ahead of myself, because a lot of times people say like, oh, this is what I would have did. This is what I would have did. No, you wouldn't have. What would I do in this situation? WWID. First of all, I think Dr. Umar handled that perfectly. I think he, I even was surprised because how he acts as far as when he doing content, you probably would think, oh, he finna turn up. He did the exact opposite. He was just like, he was letting them know who he was. He was letting them know his accolades and what he's done and what he's doing. Like, I'm just here, I'm chilling, I'm not doing nothing. They called it on me. Like, he could have easily flipped out, played into the narrative, because that's what they wanted him to do, play into the narrative. And then you know what I'm also thinking too? What if nobody did that for real? They just recognized them, and then they like, we finna trick him into acting crazy so that we can apprehend him. But because he didn't give them a reason, Man, it's so much in this. I ain't planning on this today. This ain't the actual episode that I usually do. So this is like different, but I wish I could bounce this off somebody. But what if, and somebody get in the comments and say something, because you see people watching. So come on, get in the comments and say something. But what if he did that because maybe might even had a suspicion they knew who he was and they trying to like mess with him? Because a lot of times the conspiracy theory, I'm doing like that, is when they see those black activists out, they try to like get them so they could do stuff to them, but they like try to get them caught up in reacting a certain way so that they can have the right to do something. But if he was one, recording himself, which I'm sure they probably peeped, and two, he was handling it like how you supposed to handle it. Because if I was in that situation and somebody came to me, you act calm. The thing y'all got to understand is if somebody acting crazy and you act crazy back, or you start turning up, they're gonna turn up. I've had debates with people about the whole police thing and how they'll be like, when like, how somebody get pulled over and they'll be like, I didn't do anything. And it's like, calm down. Just do what they ask you to do and go about your business. All that big reactions and crying and stuff, that you making stuff worse. And even take police out of it, just in general. Just relax. You start doing all that extra stuff, and then it turns into something bigger than it needs to be because you can't control your emotions. Dr. Umar, that right there was a perfect example of handling, controlling your emotions. And if y'all ain't learned nothing else from that clip, look at that. Now this is interesting. WWJD, what would Jesus do? So now we all know, if you know the Bible and you know that, and the ethically and morally correct thing to do is what he did. That was that. If we saw that. Now, it's funny because in Jesus' time, they used to come at him. It's kind of similar. And that's funny because it's Dr. Umar and they used to do the same thing. And they used to try to challenge him. And in this case, or falsely accuse him. Because in this moment, Dr. Umar was falsely accused. So they tried to falsely accuse him and he would just remain calm. And there's times where you may turn up to an extent of, you can be stern. There's the professional turn up, as we'll call it. That's what we're gonna call it. The professional turn up is just being stern and being not necessarily. You look at those. I think of those commentators on like CNN and stuff. That's a form of that. Those people who are like real aggressive in those like debates. That's a form of that. But in this case, I think that he handled it the right way. But in this case, what would Jesus do? I feel like he would have did that. I feel like he would have been like, no, I can't be me. You know what I'm saying? This is who I am. This is what I did. Stating who you are, stating what you've done, and stating how you're not wrong. There's nothing wrong with saying you didn't do something. There's nothing wrong with saying you didn't do nothing. And he didn't do anything wrong. Literally nothing wrong. He's recording content, minding his business, and people came out their way to mess with him. So what would you do in that situation if somebody came out that way to mess with you? Boom. WSMD. What should men do? So in this segment, again, in this situation, I think that you should always keep your emotions controlled, respectfully say what it was and what it wasn't. Even with the situation, he wasn't getting smart and wasn't getting, as y'all would say, sassy. He was just literally being like, no, that wasn't me. No, I'm just sitting here chilling. I'm about to catch a flight to Amsterdam. I'm the psycho, I'm the licensed professional. And then they falsely accusing me being crazy, and I'm the professional. Now, isn't that interesting to be falsely accused of being this for helping, and being falsely accused of being something, and you're licensed and you're trained to help those people? I'm not getting this out right, but you know what I'm trying to say. And then it's funny, you can take it back to Jesus. He was accused of being a sinner and accused of being this while hanging with the sinners, but he wasn't doing what they was doing. They was forced to, get into formation. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. From Dr. Umar. That's crazy. But again, I believe that he handled it right. Now my camera keeps shaking. Okay, let's stop that. All right, boom. All right, now, so let's go into the next and the final clip for today. Like I told y'all, I won't be before you long. I'm going to talk about y'all's favorite person and y'all president Donald Trump. Now I got a clip that we're gonna watch, and I want y'all to let me know what you think.
We have to win this election, most important election ever. We want a landslide that's too big to rig. If you want to save America, get your friends, get your family, get everyone you know, and vote. Vote early, vote absentee, vote on election day. I don't care how, but you have to get out and vote. And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote.
All right, let's talk about it. All right, so what does this have to do with mental health? So the election every year, every 4 years, is always a doozy. People stressed, people going through the ringer, people falling out with family members, people. It's just ultimately a lot, right? And it just adds a lot of stress for people, and it puts people in compromising situations because they really believe that if they don't vote right, everything is going to drastically change. And you could argue that to an extent that it's true. Then there's some people who believe they ain't voting because it's not really that big of a deal. Then we got people who say I'm not voting because we're doomed either way. I can say this, and I'm going to echo Tiffany Montgomery. Judgment is coming to America either way, but one of them will speed up the process. The other will allow grace. Which one? I'm not going to reveal that today because I haven't been led to, but yeah. So when we get to this clip and we watch Donald Trump be Donald Trump, and not I add both candidates I don't like. I don't like either one. Well, yeah, I really don't like either one. And so the easy thing to say is pick the lessers of two evils, or whatever how that phrase goes. But then we have to ask, well, what do we consider evil? The thing with this topic is, especially when it comes to these two, I look at Donald Trump, and this, first of all, I think he's a joke. He's funny to me. But like, when you really think about it, I think about, remember when they was like, I'm not a wolf in sheep's clothing, I'm a wolf, you see me coming. That's how I feel about Donald Trump. You know what you're getting with him. He don't market himself to be he do market himself to be a savior, but he don't market himself to be like no angel or none of that. He just like, I'm here. And it's just interesting for people to for y'all to let this politics stuff rile y'all up the way it does. I just feel like it's not the end of the world. Trust me, we got a lot more to see. This ain't the end. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't be concerned. I'm not saying we shouldn't know what's going on. I would never say that. But I believe that this ain't the end of the world. Trust me. Trust. Nobody might say, well, who do you think you are? Okay. Don't believe me. I don't care. I don't care. Now, let's get into WWID. What would I do in this situation? So now, this man said, Christians, go vote. I'm not Christian, but go vote. All the issues, they're going to be fixed in 4 years. You don't have to worry about it. You won't have to vote no more. So what you trying to imply? You trying to say that we're about to end in 4 years? I know it's not, but I'm just saying the way he talking like, oh, the world going to end in 4 years. Just do this last time, and then y'all going to be good. Y'all going to be Gucci. You ain't got to worry about it no more. Right? That's what it sounds like now. Again, I don't believe that's the case, but I think that he's hilarious. I don't take Donald Trump seriously. And I don't feel like y'all should stop letting him take y'all seriously. I feel like this man is an actor. I'm going to go in and get into a conspiracy theory here. And please comment, let me know what y'all think. I believe that he's playing a role. I believe that he knows this country is racist. I believe that he knows this country is away. I feel like because remember, before he ran for president, everybody loved him. Did y'all remember that? Go look it up. He wasn't hated. He was loved. If people felt a way about him, it was behind closed doors because they didn't say it publicly. I feel like he's playing a role, and I feel like he's playing this role to get the majority vote. And the majority we know is and racist. So that's what I believe. I believe he's playing into their role on purpose because he knows it's polarizing. He knows that it's gonna get the eyes, and he knows it's gonna get people talking. Just to call it what it is. That's what I believe. Could be wrong, but I would in this situation, because I'm not the president. But if I was, I'm gonna speak from two angles. I'm gonna speak from the angle of if I was giving a speech and I'm trying to get people to vote for me or to pick me for something, or maybe I'm running for or trying to get an award. I wouldn't be that brash and ignorant and unhinged. And so that's why a lot of people say I'm not voting for him because he's brash and ignorant and unhinged. But in the same breath, as far as voting wise, I would vote for somebody who maybe when I align best with the policies I believe in, and not for the one of the policies I don't believe in. So that's the case with voting. And then as a black person, we didn't have the rights. Now, of course, we can get down the road of the vote don't matter. We could say that. I'm not gonna get into that because it still was a right they fought for. So even if it didn't matter, just off the strength of that alone, you should still be doing it. But let's keep going. WWJD, what would Jesus do? Well, Jesus wouldn't say Christians go out and vote. Well, first of all, he didn't call people Christians, but ethically and morally thing to do would be to, I keep saying that, know what's going on in your region, stay up to date with politics, because ultimately, no matter who's in power, we still have to honor them and pray for them. I don't know the verse for that, so I don't want to quote it wrong, but I'm gonna have to look it up. But that's what we're supposed to do. People don't want to hear that but I just think that I do know that we shouldn't allow this to split us up from our families and friends. I just don't believe that. I don't believe. I don't believe that. I feel like we can have different, agree to disagree on things, and you can even look at people differently, but stop talking to them based on who they're voting for. I just think it's childish, and I think it's emotional. And although the Dr. Umar and Donald Trump, you never thought they'd have something in common. It's a conversation about not being able to control your emotions, which I always am going to say is a problem. To end out, what would Jesus do? An ethically, morally correct thing to do, honestly, would be to go out and exercise your right, I believe. Let me move this. Exercise your right, but then also keep in mind that God is still on the throne at the end of the day anyway. So not to let this be like this is the end of the world, no matter who's in charge of the country, whether you think it's the end of the world, because people talk about, Project 2025. And then there are people that say that Trump said he never endorsed that, but then there are some people that say he did. So, it's a lot. And then I know Anton Daniel, shout out to him. He said he read all 900 pages. I don't know how true that is, but in the same breath, I don't believe him to be a liar. Shout out to him. And he said it's not even what people think it is, which I kind of believe that too. Is not what people think it is all the way. But I haven't read all 900 pages, so I can't speak on it. But he claimed he have, so we need to go listen to him. But I know for a fact Anton Daniel's not voting for Kamala. That I do know. And he's very adamant and don't care what nobody's saying. Will argue with any of y'all about it. And one thing, WSMD, what should men do? Men should always stand 10 toes down on their faith and their beliefs. And I'm going to always support that. I don't care if you loud and wrong. Not saying he is. I'm just saying you need to stand 10 toes down on what you believe in and not care who don't agree with it. And especially if it's built for your morals, your faith, whatever it is. You shouldn't bow or be because at that point you're a coward. If you go against how you believe for the sake of other people, you're a coward. And a lot of times I think we get caught up in, even I have to hold myself accountable. Sometimes we get caught up in like, I'm just not going to say nothing, but that's kind of a chicken move too. And even me, I'm calling myself out because I've done it before. I've done it recently. And I was like, you need to stand up. You need to say this. And that's something I'm definitely going to be doing more of. I do it, but I need to do even more of it. And for some people, that might even shock them to hear me say that. So, yeah. That's all I got for this week, y'all. Pretty sure I told you I wasn't going to be before long, even 7 o'clock. Now, let's get to talking about this week. So this week's episode is titled, As a Man, Why Are You Into Zodiac Signs? You're going to hear me say it in the episode, and I'm saying it now. I was like, I should have said, why are you into astrology? But zodiac signs, I said it is what it is. And so this week we're going to be talking about, is it bad to want to know the future? Why does zodiac signs have a chokehold on people? Why are they obsessed with them? As a man, is that a little weird for a dude to be like, yeah, you know, because as a Gemini, this is what I do? That's weird. That's weird. So we're gonna unpack all of that, and then also hold it up to the light of, is it demonic or not? Because you've heard people say it, but they never really broke it down. So we're gonna ask all them good questions, and we're gonna have a great debate this week. And a lot of people popped in and out this episode, probably because the names in the title. I don't know. All right, y'all, but that is all I got today. I cannot wait to see y'all this week on the episode, the Zodiac episode. You know, I break the fourth wall here, and the episode hasn't been recorded yet. It actually is due Thursday. It's actually due to my editor, technically Tuesday, really Wednesday at the latest. But I'm going to go ahead and record it tomorrow. Y'all should love it. This is the first episode this season after 14 by 14 episodes where I've waited to the week of to record. I haven't done that since last season. So give me a round of applause. I hear people outside cheering. They're cheering for me. But all right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. As always, I love y'all for real. PSA signing out. Always remember, keep your head up like your neck hurt. Remember who you are. Make your mind up. Don't let it make you. And remember, I love us for real.